Welcome back, Starladder fans, for the final time today. We've got our last game, but it's actually a big one. Not today versus Shadows of the Past. As Blaze pointed out in the last game, Shadows of the Past will be playing their final match in the group stage right now, and they're right on the cusp. They absolutely need this win if they want to make it into the top four, and if they lose here, their hopes and dreams of making it into the next stage for the Starladder America qualifier will be destroyed. Blaze, talk to me, man.
Man, this is so intense for these two teams. They've obviously worked very hard to rebound from early losses and to make it to this point where they are in contention for that fourth place slot. But yeah, it's so much more pressure on Shadows of the Past than it is on Not Today. Assuming we're going with what the admins are implying, that it is going to be a tiebreaker under such circumstances that they do have the same win-loss ratio, then at least Not Today get a second chance. If they take the win over CNB, aka Pain, which does seem probable based just on standings alone, then they actually will still be in contention for a tiebreaker for this, and we might see a rematch of this very same one. But here it is, the best of one, and Shadows of the Past, they desperately need this win. Otherwise, it's decided for them. So we'll see right now. The draft went a little slow at first. We see reserve time taking down to 8 seconds for Shadows as they contemplate, do we want to let the Smash Brew slip away? And they don't. They do snap it up for themselves, but even still, they're going for this kind of beefy combo. A lot of disable coming in with some strength or heroes. The Brewmaster, the Tidehunter, it's going to be their opener, but they're up against a pretty challenging lineup.
Yep, and if the way the matches went today are any indicator, Shadows of the Past need to do something much differently. The game we just saw prior, they were the pretty heavy favorites going in against Dream Destroyers, and they got messed up. They got just completely obliterated, so have to shake it off, do it the Taylor Swift style, and come back fresh and see what they can do here. Not today. They've been looking pretty strong. They won their game earlier, and maybe riding that momentum a little bit. A pretty scary lineup, though, as you mentioned. Now that Dragon Knight adding in some more pushing power. Not a hero we've seen a lot of, sort of intermittently, but we'll be able to pair nicely with the Shadow Shaman. And per usual, if Shadows of the Past take a failed team fight, Not Today will be able to punish them by taking objectives, be it Roche or Towers.
Yeah, so right now they have a ton of disable on the side of Shadows of the Past. They have, I can't even list them all. Like, they have a lot of control, a lot of stuns. You can see it for yourself, but they need follow-up damage, not just in the form of the Brewmaster, but also some hero that can do some good AoE follow-up. We see heroes like Ember Spirit was picked up last time around when Shadows of the Past were once again on the Radiant side. Maybe they'll pick that up once more, but they could also be looking for maybe a hero like a Sven, maybe something. Luna is obviously capable in that right as well, but Not Today. They have like a really strong combo, and we have seen it before. If they don't ban out the Jakiro here on the side of Shadows of the Past, we're going to see that triple dragon strat again, and the damage over time from these heroes is just absolutely ridiculous and very hard to hold, even if you do draft a tanky lineup.
5 seconds remaining.
Yep, no doubt about it. Shadows of the Past with a lot of wombo here. Enigma, Tide, Skywrath to dump some damage in there. Faceless Void makes it through, and neither side too interested, but ooh, Not Today. Rocking the Chen.
Yeah, really excited to see what they can do with this one. Mystico probably picking that up. In either case, a lot of roaming kill potential, and in general, just a really good death ball to work with. They can take the tier 1 within maybe the first 7 minutes of the game, and they can follow that up with the Dragon Knight taking another tier 1 immediately after that. So a lot of potential to control the fight as far as positioning with the Stampede, bring down towers very quickly with just a draft in general, and gain a lot of gold momentum. But all the same, if they don't very carefully ward up the enemy jungle, Enigma still will be able to get a lot of farm, move in towards the mech, and give the team that kind of unkillable status with the Tide and the Brewmaster having such great passive abilities. But the final pick here, Sniper, what do you make of it?
Ooh, you know, this might be another one of these pessimist-optimist situations here, Blaze. I like the Sniper in general. I think he's fun. I like seeing him, and I think he can certainly win games, maybe a bit underrated, but this will not be an easy one for him. I look at one hero in particular, and that's Big Brad. The half Centaur, half man, all beast. He's going to go for that fast Blink Dagger, and Sniper will be his target of choice. Even if he doesn't get a Blink Dagger, you've got Stampede. That's the big gap closer you need to get right up in that Sniper's face, and that's where he struggles. If you're on top of him, he's not doing, well, he's maybe doing damage, but he's taking a lot of it. And yeah. I'm very nervous for the life of this Sniper.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you there. I think that essentially Shadow's Pass has to have somebody that rushes a force staff and tries to help an ally disengage if they get blinked on by the centaur, because he's not going to be able to get out of it by himself. Maybe he goes for the force staff. I don't know. We have seen that. It's kind of a Admiral Bulldog build, but it's still something. But no matter the case, if he gets the distance closed on him and they can't prevent the centaur stomp
30
with a
seconds
Skyraz
to
Mage
battle.
Ancient Seal, he is fish food. But all the same, he does bring a lot to the lineup in the context of the take aim versus Mass Serpent wards. Able to turtle into the tower, just shrapnel away and get some right clicks out, and you should be able to hold towers a lot better than you would be with most carry or, in this case, mid heroes.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right about that. There is some serious pushing power that he can put out, and that is one thing that he brings to the table. So I think if Shadows of the Past stay grouped up, like you mentioned, a force staff will be good, and look to slow siege the towers, and that's a good way to go about it. But if this sniper is left by his lonesome, he will be very susceptible. And still a lot of team fight for Shadows of the Past, and Sniper does work well with that in terms of the Black Hole and the Ravage there. He is one of those heroes that can dump a lot of damage into it, not just with the shrapnel, but also just his auto attacks. Probably safe to assume he'll pick up a Mjolnir at some point in this game, a pretty core item on the Sniper these days, and will really allow him to do a lot of damage output, singleton, if space allows. Now, both teams with a jungler means this is just an interesting early game. We actually don't see this too often, where both teams have an absolutely dedicated jungler. And this is a rare treat, Blaze.
Yeah, it's going to be a little more passive for maybe a minute or two, but generally speaking, Chen is a hero that likes to get active as soon as he hits level 2, level 3. Get a point or two in Test of Faith and start getting the ganks off. We will see his rotations come on the side of Shadows of the Past with this Observer Ward in place, not blocking, just watching, making sure that things won't be too disruptive. But you see an interesting play here, and he's actually going to go for a stack here. Hellbear clapping down the satyrs, unfortunately getting mud golems, but still getting some decent farm. And we have seen farm-centric Chens in the past where they go for stacks for Wild Wings and such, but this is a different way to go about it.
Yeah. Hoping for some better RNG perhaps, but will get a fair bit and finds his level 2 at the very least. Still won't be able to contest completely on point with the Enigma, just a slightly more efficient farmer with that demonic conversion and instant giving those those small creeps and giving it to the big creeps subsequently. It will be a Brewmaster in the safe lane with a supporting Skywrath on the side of Shadows of the Past, which puts Narok's Tidehunter, a tricked-out Tidehunter at that. Auspicious Squiddles, I like it. Headed for the off lane. Dire's side will have Mihawk on that Centaur. That puts Smash mid against the Sniper. Then they'll have that safe lane, dual lane Mystico on the Shadow Shaman. And Regeneration Ring gets picked up by Mihawk down in the bottom lane. And, of course, they have this position 1 Viper here, played by Ewo, who is the last hit leader right now, and basically just racking up free farm. Not really too much the Tide can do to slow him down.
So top lane is where the gank's going to come first. That's only 1 point in Test of Faith, but they do have that Centaur. So some good attack speed going to be coming out from this Viper. You can attack under tower with that poison attack, and they're going to look to converge on him now that they have vision. Nayrok being flanked hard. The Anchor Smash is going to help, but it's not going to prevent his death, and this is not the way to go about it. He can't tango out of here. He's pretty much decided he's going to be going down.
Yeah, I guess the plan was, well, waste as much time as I can while I move into the trees, but yeah, sort of an odd path for him. Even just running back towards the tier 2 opens up a maybe possibility of somebody TPing in. I guess it's a little early for that. Nobody has a TP scroll yet. So he will just bite the bullet, and Narok decides he's going to die, and that will be not today with a successful first gank. And it is Viper of all heroes to grab that bonus gold, and now Ewo off to one hell of a start. Brown boots and 1,500 gold. We don't often see Hand of Midas on Viper, but he might be tempted.
Yeah, this could be pretty interesting. I mean, a lot of gold going his way, but I kind of would prefer just to see the... Okay, no, he's going Midas. No problem there. I would say if Misoku was trying to go for like a Bassi Arcane build, just to really just infuse the push and make sure his creeps always have mana, that the mech would be better suited on the Viper rather than putting the gold towards a later investment. But here's the Midas. That means that it is going to be the mech on the Chen, and they're just going to have to focus the push once he picks that up.
Now, you're definitely right that Hand of Midas is, of course, a later game focused item, but this might be one of these scenarios where if you can rush it fast enough, you can still get a mech on point around that 10, 11, 12 minute mark. And it looks like he'll have a Hand of Midas completed by like the 4.5-minute mark, maybe 5 minutes if he misses a couple of last hits here. I mean, he's only 3 or 4 last hits away from getting the Gloves of Haste. So I think the investment here is well worth it. And if he ends up being the mech carrier, I think he could get it around the 12-minute mark. As long as he doesn't get ganked in this window here.
Yeah, I think that's very possible. Right now, they're just zoning at the Tidehunter. Narox going 2 points in Kraken Shell, but has no more HP regen. Tries to clear out some camps, or maybe pull them away, but it's not going to happen because of the current pulling situation for Mystico. Really been pulling back the wave frequently, but now we see the wave doubling up, and there's going to be a lot of damage coming under this tower. They can't really follow it up. Unfortunately, the Chen is too far gone. He's just focusing on farming up these double stacks, but even still, they will get some hits, and that will kind of prime them for the full push coming out a little bit later.
Yeah, and there's still not much Tide can do here, and I like this positioning from Mystico, trying to zone him out and stop him from getting all the experience if possible. Narok, a smart guy, will stay right on the cusp of it, get as much as he can without taking any damage from Mystico himself. They force out the glyph. They even have the siege creep here, and get that tower down to 500 hit points will make for a very easy push once Chen does decide to move out of the jungle once more. Let's take a look at the mid lane here. Dragon Knight versus old Sniper, and a very even exchange. Uh-oh, down bottom, dive onto Mihawk. And will they actually dive it? No, they won't pursue. He'll be okay with his hoof stomp, and Annihilate comes in, and as I say that, he actually presses forward. He's level 6, has a primal split. His supports don't seem to be on the same level, and Mihawk's still on the run. I don't know that he'll survive this, but it could be a close call. Goes back with the hoof stomp. Of course, the Earth Panda is immune to it, and, well, that'll cost him his life. But
yeah,
okay.
And now the Tier 1, I think, on the bottom lane is going to fall even faster. They pop the fortification, but look at all these creeps. The Eidolon's coming out, losing one very quickly, unfortunately, but even still, this tower is dropping. They're going to be able to wave clear with this clap if they want to, and yeah, they are taking this Tier 1 even faster. Still another gank coming on the top lane. The center clap will connect, and with all these disables, the Kraken Shell won't be enough to keep him alive.
Yeah, Mystico disables him long enough for the right clicks to commence. Tier 1 tower in the bottom falls, but look at this from Shadows of the Past. They'll go straight for a Tier 2. They've got a siege creep, another set of, another wave of creeps coming in. That's 3 ranged creeps, and they might be able to grab a Tier 2 tower here. If not today, don't come to its defense. Only so much Big Brad can do. He's only level 4. Might have his Tranquil Boots, but this tower is taking a lot of damage. They secured the top Tier 1 tower. TP coming forward from the Shadow Shaman will clear up the Eidolons, but will this tower go down? It looks like it'll stay standing, and they won't be able to commit to it. They might want to think twice about putting it in deny range.
They're going for it. They really are committed to this. They have the cooldowns, but here's the TPs.
Yep, rotation from the mid lane, and it's still a tower down. Brewmaster gets the last hit as he commits deep for it, and I Annihilate. He's going to die for this. I don't know if that was...
You don't think a Tier 2 secure at this point in the game? I think it honestly is perfectly worth a level 7 hero. Like, obviously, it's some experience headed towards NoT. Brad's going to find his ultimate very shortly, but they know that Misoku can't rotate from the jungle this quickly. They know that he was farming up very recently, and the problem is a Chen TPing is just that. He's only the Chen, not the army behind it, and so they were able to force the issue. If the tower got denied and that kind of risky play didn't pay off, then that would have been a huge loss for them. But losing the Brewmaster and securing that Tier 2 tower kill is going to give the entire lineup of Shadows of the Past a tremendous amount of gold. I mean, look at the graph.
Okay, yeah, the graph tells a pretty good story there. You see that was 1 tower, and then the Dire got theirs, and that's the Tier 2 to level it back out, making that kind of, like, what's that, an asymptote? There's a math word for that. But, yeah, I guess you're right. I was thinking more that just the tower going down is what's important, so pushing it into deny range is okay, even if it gets denied and the Brewmaster falling. But he got the last hit, so that makes up for the gold that he lost, and still on his way to a very fast Blink Dagger. So you've convinced me, Blaze. I think it was a worthy expenditure for I Annihilate. And now with 1,300 gold, he'll have a Blink probably around that 10-11 minute mark, which is certainly not too shabby. There's your mech up on the Enigma. Viper is going to be the mech carrier. He has the buckler, and he's just about to complete his. So, yeah, there's that early Midas paying off. Ooh, Narok gets stunned up as he moves to the high ground. The rest of Shadows of the Past pressing forward into the Tier 1 tower. All 5 of them have rotated now. They have some Eidolons. Black Hole is at the ready. And Sniper going for a shrapnel-based build. 3-2-2 with the ultimate. Very balanced. The value point and headshot, getting those points and take aim so that he can chip at this tower without taking any damage. And still able to do a lot of damage with the shrapnel. I really like this build out of the Sniper here.
Yeah. Still about 50 gold off for the Viper. Finally finding enough gold for his mech, but he needs to get it quarried out, and they still don't have the Hand of God either. So this is 450 effective health for the entire team. They are lacking, and they're just going to try for the deny. The last hit will come through from the sniper, though, and now they get to chase. Smash, as tanky as it may be, is going to have to be stampeded away just to make sure that they're going to be safe. And yeah, it's that mech advantage. It's short-lived, but at the same time, oh, actually, I Annihilate teleporting way too far in enemy territory. They punish him, but he gets the split. If he just walks away, he can use the refresher, or the regen rune, and he'll be perfectly fine. And
now we'll actually go for it. There's a snipe, or not assassinate from the sniper, and that's a dead Shadow Shaman. So the Primal Split keeps him alive, and he also uses it to grab a kill. He'll go back to Brew Form, keeps the Earth Panda far away, and I Annihilate lives and finds a kill out of it. Now on the top lane, Narok goes to the high ground. Ewo connects with the Viper Strike, but Enigma's there with a mech, looking for the black hole, thinking about it, but doesn't have the mana. Oh, wow, just 8 mana short. Sad times for F4L.
Yeah, they also had the Ravage there, but then they Anchor Smashed, and he didn't have mana for that either. So in that case, they hold the big teamfight ultis for later, but they don't have any chance at bringing down this Viper. So he'll just make his way back and get the mana that he needs and keep on Midasing away. Meantime, Smash is going to find an Invis rune here. It would be a pretty big pickup, except he just lost the Elder Dragon form, and the Radiant do catch wind of it. They do have an Observer Ward there on the top rune spawn, so no surprises there, but perhaps this item might be a little bit more deceitful. Picking up the Shadow Amulet here, going to be moving towards the Shadow Blade, and then we'll really see what this hero can do coming out of Invis.
Yep. So this is getting interesting in terms of the farm distribution, where Shadows of the Past have a huge tower advantage. They've taken out 3. They've lost 2. One of them was just denied, but it's a 0 gold game, and Not Today actually have the experience edge, and that's where this really early Midas is just going to cause so many problems for them. Viper's still #1 on net worth by a big margin, and it feels like they have to knock down these towers just to break even, and that's okay for now, but the outer towers are the easy part. Breaking the high ground, finishing off these last tier 2s in the upcoming moments where things will be a little bit more difficult for them. So they're off to a good start, but soon they're going to have to take some team fights and try and shut down these dire heroes that are just farming a little bit more efficiency. Look at the bottom lane here as Mihawk and Mystico move into the tier 2. Rasta wards come down with a siege creep. We'll do some decent damage. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Not Today will make a defense. I Annihilate presses forward, but this time no Primal Split. Takes a Viper Strike. Quite a few right clicks as well. 3 points in that Nether Toxin. Will lay into him if they can just find him. He moves over the tree line. 1 hit from death, but will be able to blink to safety and TP's home. The real story here, though, is Not Today defend the tower. Rasta wards take the bottom tier 2 close to deny range. Looks like another volley will bring it down. They clear up the wards, but a good trade for the dire side that time.
Both of the sides tiptoeing. This time, Shadows of the Past will get the second deny. First tier 1 down bottom by Skywrath, and now tier 2. But nice pick on the Shadow Shaman. Actually, I'm not sure. Yeah, he was just moving around, and the ward gave them vision. So even though they were kind of stampeded out, expediting their retreat, it's still going to be that long-range assassinate to claim the life of the Shadow Shaman once more.
Yep.
So yeah, one thing to note is Smash is hanging onto that amulet in his stash. Does not want it revealed in any capacity. He's waiting until he gets the full thing to just unveil it with a flourish and get an easy kill.
Yeah, I like that. And the Shadow Amulet's one of those items that, yeah, gives you a little attack speed, but the value is really, like, you get more value out of not revealing it than you do from that additional attack speed. So I think that's a nice heads-up play. Mihawk will find the Blink Dagger on this Centaur, and we talked about how that could cause a lot of problems for this sniper, and also just give Not Today a nice initiation tool. Also, we talked about Chen in the last team fight not being level 6. Now he's soon to be 7, so of course Hand of God is online, has the Bassi and the Arcane Boots, and Masoku spending a lot of time passively farming in the jungle, but he is starting to come online. Speaking of Blink Daggers, that's Narok with his first big item pickup off of Brown Boots, no less.
Yeah, Enigma is on the back of that, not going to be going for a Blink Dagger. Could have purchased it very shortly, but instead goes for the Ogre Club. Going to be building up into BKB. He knows that there is no Magic Immunity Piercing disable other than Dark Troll Summoners controlled by Chen. So that means that he should be able to get a BKB Black Hole on any hero he wants, and with the Blinks on 2, they should be able to find that first initiation to set up his.
Yeah, defensive Stampede used as initiation comes in the mid lane, and Smash will survive. Takes a Drunken Haze, but it will expire. And now they'll smoke up as they fake back. They press forward. It gets broken. Ewo in the tree line, trying not to reveal himself, but now they'll find him. He's getting hit by the sniper. A few headshots coming through. Narok blinks forward, looking for the Ravage, but wants to save it. Doesn't have the opening that he needs. And the Test of Faith will keep the Viper alive as he gets sent back to the well.
It is important to note for future engagements that if the Primal Split is active while attempting to test the faith somebody home, the Wind Panda can just go for the Mass Dispel, take that buff off, and they are stuck where they are. So that might be a reason why somebody doesn't get pulled out right when they think they are going to be, and could really shift the fight. But for now, the Ravage is what we're looking for.
Yeah, NoT comes in, Ravage on 3. Actually, only connects on 2. There's a Black Hole to follow up from 4FL, or F4L, but it's just not enough. He misses it completely, and now not today. They're starting to come into shambles, but they've got some return damage. The Sniper will fall, as will the Enigma, and it looks like the Dire side will make the hold they're looking for. As Mihawk taking some damage, but they'll press forward right onto NoT, and nowhere to go, no mana, running out of health. They will trade a 1 for 3. Now it's going to be a 1 for 4 as the Brewmaster gets left behind. Yeah. And that, you just needed more out of that Black Hole.
Absolutely. The Ravage was really on point. I like the dive movement there, but they didn't have the follow-up with the hard disables. They went for the rank 1 Midnight Pulse, which in my opinion is barely worth casting, and then the Black Hole didn't connect as a result of the delay. So maybe the positioning was off, maybe there was some lag, whatever the case. They didn't get their abilities off the way they needed to really win that fight. And at the end of it, Brewmaster didn't even get the blink off to disengage after the Primal Split. He actually blinked right on top of more heroes. So you see some discussion coming out from a couple members of Shadows of the Past, a few pings here and there, trying to talk about how they could have done that differently. And hopefully they reach some conclusion, because they cannot make that mistake again.
Yeah, we just looking at the graphs here, you see a big drop off now, 5,000 golden experience in favor of the Dire side. We can't forget they've got that farming advantage, so there's a lot to be afraid of if you're on Shadows of the Past in terms of following a fight like that. Now Dragon Knight has picked up his Shadow Blade, has gone for an Ogre Club, so Smash really coming online. Also finds level 11 and makes that Elder Dragon form a little bit more potent. What is Chen pulling up for? 1,800 gold on him, and he's just saving for now. You're not getting interest on it, buddy. What's your ideal item build for Chen, given that the mech's already been picked up here, Blaze?
It's difficult because the mech used to be pretty much the guaranteed item, but there are a couple different ways you can go for it. Vladimir's, Drums, Medallion,
what
in the case
Ags?
of going for
are
early
you
Roche.
An Ags
and
fan?
Yeah, that was the last one I was gonna hit on. If you're not going for like a hard Hex Rush, the second best luxury item you can pick up at an early stage in the game is the Aghanim Scepter. You're not up against an Ancient Apparition, so you should be able to really benefit from the sustain over the extended fight. But it remains to be seen. For now, I think it's a good option since he hasn't picked up either of those early ones that I mentioned. And I can't imagine he's saving for anything else. Like, we've either seen Raw Hex Rush or Aghanims if you're saving beyond 2K.
Mm-hmm. Well, top lane, Shadows of the Past will get that tier 1 towers. Enigma presses forward. Not today. We'll be happy to trade it for a Roshan, and that's an Aegis with the Immortal now going in the inventory of the Viper. Down bottom lane, there's that Blink Dagger being showed off. Mystico even using the Rost awards for this to make sure they have the damage to bring down the Brewmaster before he can use his split. Traps him in the shackles, and they find a free kill on the Brew following the Roche.
Yeah. The other items to consider are Force Staff and Pipe of Insight, but as Centaur is going to be building up the Pipe, and they already have really good engagement tools with the Stampede as well as the Blink, I don't know if that's necessary.
Sniper, Stampede, Blink, and this is exactly what we were worried about as that Sniper was picked up. So easy for the Centaur to do that, and nothing stopping him from doing it every time that Stampede's off cooldown, and there's a Sniper in vision.
Mm-hmm. We're going to see NoT pick up a lot of Ancients here. I think it was definitely at least a triple stack, perhaps a quadruple stack of Ancients. So a lot of gold going his way. He's actually not going to finish the job, though, as he sees the enemy kind of pinching in. So they know that he's not actually pursuing that. They're going to go ahead and take down this tower very quickly with the Elder Red Dragon form, as well as this gigantic army from the Chen. And he did actually go for the Force Staff, so engagement tools on top of engagement tools, but it might be enough to pull somebody away from the Mystic Flare.
Yeah. All right, they will use the glyph. Whoa, a little miscommunication there. Skywrath goes in for the deny, and oh, there's the Ravage. We'll connect on everyone on the side of Not Today. That'll bring down the Chen to start things off, but F4L takes a stun as the Dragon Knight goes up onto the high ground. Ewo trying to stand his ground best he can. He has the Aegis, so he'll be coming right back up. The Midnight Pulse doing a lot of damage. Black Hole just on Mihawk, and now on Ewo as he comes right back. And Chen will buy back, throws out the all-heal. Will that be enough for the turn? Now the Enigma taking a lot of damage will be forced back. The Sniper drops the Shrapnel, making the retreat a lot more difficult. Assassinate on the way for his Viper, but he'll be able to make it away. Anchor Smash is there to bring him down. Instead, the Assassinate is used for the Centaur, as we see Smash off to the side bring down the Tidehunter. So an interesting fight, but end of the day, it's Shadows of the Past that come out way ahead, and they force a buyback from the Chen.
That buyback kind of counteracts what he got out of last hitting the tower, so there is pros and cons to that across the board, but overall, I think Shadows of the Past are pretty happy to have been able to make that hold, committing their ultimates the way they needed to, and really making it work for them. Still, this Dragon Knight's going to get pretty huge pretty fast. BKB already up for him on top of that Shadow Blade, and yeah, he's obviously on top of the net worth there. And that's surpassing the Midas Viper that's of his own team. He's just been able to farm so efficiently and, of course, get a 4-0 KDA at the tail end of that fight.
Yeah, now there's a BKB complete, so he is tanky. It's just a core item on the Dragon Knight in general, and now it gives him a lot more survivability in these upcoming skirmishes. How's Sniper doing in that item build? He has picked up Drums and Aquila to go with his phase boots, and most recent addition is that Yasha. So starting to hit hard and fast. A good item on him, but still nothing to really keep him alive if he gets jumped on. Smash, Shadow Blade on point, will come into the mid lane. Stampede's been used. There's the Hoof Stomp double edge. They'll bring him down. Mystic Flare comes out. Smash pops the ultimate and the BKB. That'll get rid of the Assassinate from the Sniper. Annihilate now takes the Dragon Tail. No Primal Split for 25 seconds. He takes a Viper Strike, and even if he TPs back to the well, he'll probably tick down. Down he goes, and it will be a 2-0. Smash starts the whole thing off. Now we'll take an Assassinate to the face, but he's Dragon Knight. He'll have plenty of regeneration, and he's not too concerned.
He's got the Urn Charge of Mystico. He's going to bottle up this Invis rune. Invis on Invis, and they just want to keep rolling. They should be able to take this top tier 2 with the big red dragon, and with all these ultis on cooldown, specifically the Black Hole. This is an impossible hold in my mind.
Yeah, no Glyph. This tier 2 is definitely going to go down, and I doubt NoT today will go for high ground here. Brewmaster coming up. The big cooldowns are almost available. Still a minute on the Black Hole. And maybe they'll just test the waters and see if they can chip at this tier 3 tower and utilize that Corrosive Breath. They're not backing up, so stands to reason they want to go for it. They do have Rosta wards. And in comes Narok. Huge Ravage on 5. Follow-up damage will finish off the Chen. Now Mystico, second to go down as he takes a silence. Ewo in the back line, laying in the right clicks. Mihawk will reinitiate with a double edge and a hoof stomp. But BKB used by the Enigma. They'll be able to bring him down. Gush onto Ewo. It's already a 3-0. Ewo trying to TP out. He won't be successful. He gets stunned.
Oh.
And that lucky headshot. But not today. Surprised they stuck around for that one. Knowing the Ravage is available. Those are the kind of plays that Narok needs to continue for Shadows of the Past to take this game.
Most definitely. There was absolutely nothing to gain by doing anything in that region beyond taking the tier 2, so it would have been extremely reasonable just to back off, but a little bit overconfident, thinking Shadows of the Past wouldn't commit to a fight in that position, but they clearly did, and it clearly worked out for them. So we're going to see the experience graph even out a little bit more here, and we're going to be seeing more things out of F4L. This BKB has been used once to great effect, but now with the Black Hole in sync, pretty huge. Still, Sniper getting picked off, the nice little Shadow Blade initiation.
Yeah, Smash really putting that Shadow Blade to good use, and just finding these stray pickoffs here and there and continuing limit the momentum that Shadows of the Past can pick up, and also just furthering his farm. As you've mentioned, his KDA quite impressive, and we'll continue on 6-0-1 with another 2,500 gold sitting in the bank. Brewmaster working on that Aghanim Scepter is pretty close, just one piece away. That's about 1,000 gold, and he'll have it. Masoku, still just sitting on the 4-staff, hasn't found too much time to farm, but he's doing all right. Now the Ag Scepter is up on the Viper. His farm is really slowed down despite this Hand of Midas. He's almost caught, or the Enigma's almost caught up to him, only about 1,000 gold behind. We saw the BKB in the last fight, and F4L very close to a Blink Dagger if that is the item he's looking for coming up next.
But I kind of feel like Viper has gotten everything that he needs, and it's now they're turning their attention to Smash, enabling him to do as much as possible. And although obviously we can just talk all day about how he's progressed item-wise, why don't you go ahead and pull up the experience per minute chart and just see how advanced this level 16 Reliant Hero has pulled ahead of the pack. Like, everybody's sitting down just barely above 400, and this guy's just towing the line of 600 experience per minute. Finding the solo kills, finding those opportunities, farming efficiently. This is Smash Dota.
Yeah, and now he'll move right into an Assault Karas, picks up the Hyperstone. I guess it could be a Mjolnir, but the Assault Karas is just so damn good on this hero, and not today with all the outer towers gone. They seem very interested in sealing the deal sooner rather than later. Here's that Cluckles. He's all about that money, a.k.a. all about that ass, and he almost gets picked there, but he'll make it back to the base.
Yeah. So right now they're going to be kind of waiting out the Roche respawn. It's going to be 1 to 4 minutes, and that's going to be their time to really sync back up. But again, a lot of it comes down to the black holes from this point forward. Obviously, we see what NoT can do with this Tidehunter. He's made a couple of great Ravages come out, but the follow-through is the real question. DK is extremely tanky right now, and even up against a black hole might be able to survive, but you get the Midnight Pulse BKB black hole down, and everything's called into question. We see the Blink farmed up for F4L. Will he buy it, though? 2,600 in the bank.
Yeah, he's just being patient, hiding by the side shop. And I can't imagine what else he would want over it. I guess you could just start going straight for the Refresher, but the Blink gives you such a great positional advantage. And with the Tidehunter to start things off, that means you can sit way back out of harm's way and then get off that huge follow-up black hole, which they really need. Still,
in this position, I would honestly consider Aghanim Scepter. Like, you know that
Really?
the black hole is not going to be canceled out, that you're pretty much guaranteed that. So there's a lot of real potential damage that the tankier DK gets. He's probably going to pick up a heart after the AC. You could really do a lot of damage if you actually just go for that Ag Scepter.
That's a good point. Midnight Pulse is percentage-based, so even if you start getting really tanky and maxing up towards that huge HP pool, also a great item against the Centaur. Sure, he's got the Pipe of Insight, but I think undoubtedly he'll be looking towards a Heart of Tarrasque at some point in this game if farm allows. So maybe that's not a bad option. We usually don't see the Aegis. What am I talking about? It's been a long day, dude. Aghanim Scepter on the Enigma until maybe like a 5th slot, 4th slot type item, but I think you make a good case for it here, Blaze.
Yeah, if he's not going for the Blink, I can't really see any other item he'd pursue. He certainly doesn't have the mana pool for the Refresher, but the Ags would give him that. So if they rely on the Nayrok initiation and Enigma still in a follow-through mentality, then I would say Ags Refresher Orb would be the progression he needs. I mean,
Now,
Hex is also an option, but I mean, it's not that great once the DK jumps.
If you have Ag's Refresher, the Midnight Pulses don't stack, right?
They do. The 100%. It's just like Curse of the Silent, and it is
Really?
absolutely insane when you can actually get both those off.
Oh, wow. I've actually never seen an Enigma farm that up in a game. I've never seen a game going long enough where an Enigma has enough luxury to have all those core items and then get that epic Refresher Ags off. But okay, never mind. I'm in. I'm all in, dude. Ags it up. I like it.
Well, for now, he's going to go back for the Blink, maybe just waiting for Unreliable Gold plus 300 to really make sure that it's the safe pick. But they're going to look. They're going to break smoke, perhaps, on Ewo, though, on the eastern flank. Wow, there are so many people waiting in the trees and the cliffs. They wanted to engage on this Roche Pit, but the smoke didn't break where they expected it to, and they don't really know where to engage from here.
Oh, the trees get cleared, and Mystico, he takes the Stampede, but it's not enough. Narok with another decent Ravage connects on Masoku. There's the Black Hole. Follow-up on 2. Skywrath Mage has gone down, and there's a buyback coming here from the Shadow Shaman. Ewo survives the initial onslaught. Pipe comes out, and now they'll start to turn it around. Sniper's the first to fall. They'll try to go on Ewo once more, but this Viper's just too damn tanky. Mihawk in the front lines. The Enigma will TP home. Narok wants to TP out. This time, Mihawk has the hoof stop. Mystico on the run. Primal Split is there. This will be a dieback for him if they pick him off once more. But the Earth Panda will go back into brew form. There should be a Dragon Tail ready and waiting. Here are the follow-up stuns. The whole family of Centaurs to bring him down. It's a good setup from Shadows of the Past, but it simply isn't enough. And they lose the team fight. They force a buyback on the Shadow Shaman, but now Roche will go the way of NoT today.
Nice combo of Ravage and Black Hole onto 2, as well as the pickoff on the Shadow Shaman, but negated by that buyback and letting Smash just roam free. Going in with the BKB on a hero that now has 37 armor and just letting him do what he wants, it's not an option. There's no way for them to bring him down outside the Midnight Pulse Black Hole, and he's about to have Aegis on top of that, I believe. Now, they actually have the Viper drop an item, so it is going to be him with the Aegis, but I guess that's because of the fact that Smash only has 1 dragon form.
Yeah, that's some of it, and I think also they've just looked at this Viper as more of a target. In that fight, they were putting a lot of pressure onto the Viper, and maybe they'll switch it up and try and focus the Dragon Knight next time, but if they follow suit with what that team fight looked like, I see why they want that Viper to have a second life. That was also one of the worst ways for NoT today to start off a fight. Their Shadow Shaman died before it even started, so just imagine a 5v5 engagement where Mystico's there in a better position, maybe gets a jump with a Hex, has Rasta wards at the ready. Things could get very scary for Shadows of the Past. Ewo in the mid, gets initiated on, but there's a Stampede. Now the follow-up is here. Narok's coming in, but no Ravage at the ready. Up on the top. This is a dead sniper. Beautiful plays coming out from this Shadow Shaman. Now Shadows of the Past on the back foot. I Annihilate, no ulti for 12 seconds. He'll take another Viper strike. Down he goes. Now in the tree line. Fun will fog it up and just TPs back to safety. It's a 2-for-0 trade. No buyback available on either hero. and Not Today have their sights set on the base. And Shadows of the Past, their hopes of making it in the top 4 starting to evaporate before their eyes here, Blaze. They have a glyph. They'll have a Ravage in 10 seconds. But will it be enough?
Such a difficult hold. The Primal Split is very difficult to even get off against a Hex-canceling Shadow Shaman, but we're going to see the racks drop quickly, and the stuns are dropping quickly. They've used their cooldowns, they're trying to delay it, but one lane is definitely gone, and they just have to pick up the pieces from there, maybe get some return kills.
Narok still holding on to the Ravage, looking for the right opportunity. Enigma, oh god, Skyroth just gets picked off in this bottom part by Mihawk. I keep thinking that this Enigma is going to be able to do something, but no black hole available, and ooh, F4L will actually DC. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, he was backing off there, just kind of walking one direction, not really playing reactively. So yeah, it definitely seems that he was disconnecting even moments prior to that. He couldn't have really changed what he was doing based on the fact that his blink was on CD. But now it's a very interesting time for both sides to contemplate how to play this next pit out. We do see enough money for DK to sell his treads, buy BOTs, and jump back into the fight with full health. But we'll see if that's what it comes to.
Enigma will reconnect, has the black hole up in 25 seconds. I think Not Today might just back out here. They've already made this mistake once of pressing forward that top tier 2 and then getting completely wiped up from that 5-man Ravage. So I think they'll just cut their losses, and we'll see that Primal Split coming out. And will isolate Masoku. There's the Ravage, but it's only on 2, and sure they had that kill on Chen anyhow, so here's the kill on the Centaur, but I feel like that Ravage was not enough at this stage of the game, and Not Today will be able to push before that baby comes back off cooldown.
Yeah, so in this position, they're just able to get this massive farm advantage. The Sniper, he tries to play the fox in the hole. He tries to hide out on the high ground and just pick people off as a Sniper would, but instead gets the old first-person shooter knife to the back, or in this case, snakes, just rising up around you. That's probably even more terrifying. And yeah, in this position, if the Sniper keeps getting focused as he has been, there isn't much that can be done. He doesn't have a BKB, so these spells will be connecting and will be dealing insane amounts of damage to him. He's trying to carry his team, but with DK and Viper just so far ahead, dramatically so, it's got to be on the initiators. And as we said, the Ravage wasn't enough, the Primal Split wasn't enough to make the impact they needed to, and I don't even know if they have the detection, really. They actually do not have any... Oh, they have Dust. Okay, they have Dust on Narok, who is down by his Ancients.
Oh,
and we do
here
actually
we
see
go.
Smash going in.
Gets initiated on by Smash. He uses his BKB, and he should be able to secure this one despite the mech. Oh, a little bit of a misclick there as he goes back for the Eidolons. And, uh-oh, Enigma blinks forward. Can they bring him down? He TP's home. Oh, Smash with the misplays. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Sniper gets caught by the Stretch Armstrong Shackled. And they find the kill on Isle. Now, Annihilate. Well, he'll hop forward, but gets clicked back by the Viper. That could have been huge if they finished off the Enigma. Just a misclick, probably A attacking the ground there from the Dragon Knight. Not the biggest loss, but still unfortunate for him.
Mm-hmm. Even still, with Hailua just dropping so many times, it's very difficult to stay in this one. I mean, he's already been killed off 6 times. There does seem to be a little bit of a lag connectivity issue for these guys. I don't see it from a Dota TV point of view, but I certainly believe that if they're all calling it out here, they're probably having some problems.
Yeah. Actually, no, I'm feeling it. Wow, that was a huge delay.
Well, we've had certainly plenty of server issues in the past over these past couple weeks, but I don't know. At this point, it's difficult to turn back. We're 31.5 minutes into this final game of the night. I would hate for us to drag out another half hour.
That was like an 8-second delay from when I typed test. That's really, it's really awful. Uh-oh.
Here comes the facepalm.
Oh, boy. Well, Not Today in great shape, though. 15,000 gold and experience in the lead. And Shadows of the Past kind of on their last leg. They're one bad team fight away from certain defeat. Enigma looking for the refresher, but still has a little ways to go.
Oh, wow. That just came out. I swear I typed that like 20 seconds ago. It's getting worse. And
yeah.
Steam servers are down from my perspective.
Oh, no. Oh, my Lanta Blaze.
So close.
Worst timing. Volvo, have mercy.
That is, I don't even know. Like, at this point, we've come so far just to see this final conclusion, to see if Shadows of the Past will actually be able to be in a point of contention for the finals. It's been a long day leading up to it. We've had a lot of standings solidified, but this is the last one up for grabs. This is the last slot, the last stand with Shadows of the Past. But I don't know. I would say if like there was an issue where we could remake the game, then there were to be people shouting that SP still had a chance, but I'd give them 5, maybe 10%. It'd be all in the back of some incredible black holes and some pretty poor grouping, honestly. But it looks like we get the unpause going. I'll do a quick check on my own. Yeah, we're good.
Okay, that's good. Glad it was just a server hiccup. Looks like some of the Steam servers are coming back online, so maybe the server just got bogged down for a moment. But regardless, we're back in it. Sniper's still dead for 12 seconds. He does have a buyback and obviously won't need to use it here, but this is that stage in the game where buybacks become very important, especially for Shadows of the Past. They have very little wiggle room in terms of margin for error at this point. Chen in the top, looking for some split push action, has picked up a Vladimir's offering, and the rest of the team just grouping up about the mid. That's now a Yule's Scepter out on the Shadow Shaman, and still an Aegis of the Mortal in the inventory of the Viper.
Really tough to hold this, even in this position here. Elder Dragon Form is what they're going to wait on. 15 seconds, and then he goes in. And he has so much potential with the 6-second BKB. If you're not Black Hold, you are just going to tear everyone apart. But for now, he pops the Invis Rune, tries to get a good flank opening. They do have a Sentry Ward down in the mid lane, so they will see him coming from that angle. But if he just rejoins his teammates, they won't exactly know how to respond. They're just going to try to buy time, wait out this Aegis of the Immortal. 55 seconds remain, less than that on the Vipers' second life. So they have to hold it for just a moment longer. They have all their CDs, but once that Aegis cracks, they might be able to repel the enemy.
Yep. Still Shadows of the Past all grouped up. They have all of their ultimates available. Frost Awards will come down on the tier 3 tower in the top. There is no glyph, so this tower will take damage very quickly. Sniper clearing them out as quickly as he can. Ewo almost falls, able to pop his mech as he gets 4-staff back. And they will defend the initial push of Frost Awards pretty easily. Tower down to 500 hit points, as not today. Back out and look for the reset. They're almost at the point where they can almost just use the Stampede and kind of bum rush them if Big Brad can get in there and get off the Blade Mail.
That's definitely a possibility. Right now they're kind of playing it slow, playing it safe, but they do have enough of an advantage that if they just don't clump up into the black hole, that anything they do can work. But right now they just get a little bit of siege on the top lane, actually some hits on the bottom as well, but they don't actually push in. And it's actually really difficult to push into Midnight Pulse. We saw it kind of take effect in the last team fight down the mid lane for the racks there, and he actually did a huge amount of damage despite not actually bringing anybody into fatal range. So still, they're wary about it, and we'll have to see if they're going to man up within this Aegis frame or just wait for the next respawn.
Yeah, they will have to strike soon if they want to utilize this Aegis of the Immortal, and they just don't seem interested. Masoku's backed up and moved into the Dire Jungle. They're clearing out the Radiant Ancients. Ewo with about 2,800 gold has picked up his BKB on that 10-second charge. Also, a Mjolnir now for Smash's Dragon Knight. So they're still getting those big items, and at this point, Smash is just, he's so massive. 27 extra armor on top of his 10, 70% physical resistance, and his damage output in Elder Dragon form is going to be damn significant.
And he's got some really good attack speed too. Shadow Blade, Mjolnir, AC, and Power Treads all give him attack speed. So he's actually going to be hitting really fast, which is something that DK often struggles with. So being able to initiate, just getting one stun, and they'll be confident to go in.
Here we go. Iron Eye Light comes out first. He pops the ultimate. It's a wasted primal split. Oh no, this is rough. They also use their pipe. The pipe is pretty big, but it's more the primal split that I worry about. That is a big one that they need, and even at the very least, just a reset tool for the Brewmaster. Now he doesn't have it. Bottom lane, Mystico comes in. A little bit of the split push, brings down the wards to take this tower down to half health. He dies, but it's all a trap. Now in the top lane, they'll head towards the top. Glyph comes out. Mihawk coming in, trying to zone them out. Blade Mail on. There's your Ravage. Connects on quite a few. Chen comes in, and Mihawk taking a lot of damage. He just can't return it. They don't even need the black hole.
Where is Smash? He's back here just saying, okay, this is a lost fight, I guess. We'll just hold back, we'll not engage. He has all the cards. He is the 20,000 net worth hard carry, and where he chooses not to fight is where NOT will fall. If they choose to take any engagement without him, it's not an engagement at all. So he's making the executive decision that this base assault is over, and he's going to go back to farming.
Yeah, I want to say that the Smash mentality there was, guys, we forced out the glyph. We did a fair bit of damage to the bottom tower. We don't need to commit to this. Let's just wait for the next Rost Award cooldown. It'll be up in 40 seconds, way before the glyph. And then this gets a lot easier. We can basically rinse and repeat, same strategy. And what is it going to do?
Here.
Now Ewo, he gets caught, and this should be a dead Viper. Even the all-heal from Chen comes out. Oh no, not today. They're starting to crumble, Blaze.
It's just Smash doesn't want to commit. Like, he does, even with the double damage BKB, he's not confident kind of going into those 1 versus 3 scenarios. And I honestly feel that he's capable, but one thing that he's really lacking with this build is lifesteal. So he doesn't have a way of self-sustaining beyond the Hand of God and the mech. And in that case, yeah, he's just focusing entirely on building himself up to critical mass. DD rune is still, if you think about it, this bottle is probably one of his highest value items right now because the DD rune is within. He can go use the BKB first, then the double damage rune, and it won't dispel. So a lot of potential there, but only has about a minute more to use it.
Yeah, that's a big window of opportunity, though. And without a glyph, you can really just truck the structures. I mean, his ability to flash push is just absurd. But third Roche is up. Shadows of the Past will smoke out of the base, looking for an opening. And they will have, or at least Fun's smoke will be revealed by Smash as he makes the defensive. And all of a sudden, this stalemate is starting to look a little bit better for the Radiant side. Still a 15,000 golden experience deficit, but at this point, the graph's becoming a lot less meaningful, and Not Today will move into the Roche pit. So maybe this is what Smash wanted to wait for with the double damage rune now. I feel like you might as well pop it on Roche. Yep, he'll do that. And this will be cheese. So if they can't finish off this game without a 15,000 golden experience lead, Aegis of the Immortal, and cheese, then I'm not sure they can do it at all.
So yeah, they go for the full patience maneuver. They get the cheese onto Smash. They get the double, or the Aegis onto Ewo. So the 2 lives there. But speaking of doubles, we got the double ulti potentially from Enigma. He goes ahead and doesn't rank his ultimate. Keeps it at level 1 so that the important thing, the disable, is there 2 times over. It's a very expensive ultimate as you begin to rank it up. But here he doesn't even necessarily need Arcane Boots because he does have it at only rank 1.
Yeah, only 500 mana for the double ultimates. The refresher is just about 400, so he'll still have a little bit to spare. That's a Midnight Pulse, and that will be his full rotation. Shadow Shaman did fall while we were looking at the mid lane there, and just got picked off in the bottom. No big surprise, nothing too crazy about it. This time, Aegis of the Immortal does go to the Viper once more, and Cheese will go to Smash. And now, Not Today. We'll just have to bide their time and look for the right opening. They'll wait for their Shadow Shaman to come back up. Viper has gone for the full Butterfly, so upping that invasion another 10%, and, well, adding to his damage output quite a bit. Sniper is starting to get decently big, but really not at critical mass. Drum, Aquila, just a Crystallis and a Manta style. His damage output is, I would say, mediocre at best.
Yeah, still looking to really get to the degree that he needs, to the point that he might actually have to go for something that's like all in, like a Mask of Madness. Kind of try to go for the play where let's assume the best. Let's assume the double black hole hits on 3 heroes. What can I do to contribute as much as possible in that time frame? And item like Mask of Madness or Mjolnir would go a long way for less gold in the case of the former.
Yeah. Most snipers you'll see go for the Mjolnir before the Daedalus because it's one of those items that obviously the more auto attacks you can get in, the more often you crit and the more damage you do. So the attack speed is what really ups the effective damage per second from having the crit. And getting it before the attack speed is, it's not bad, it's just not quite as efficient. And the Mjolnir is just such a great mid-game item to really buff up your damage and give you a nice mix of physical and magical. Really surprised to see him just skipping even the Maelstrom altogether. Even if you don't want to upgrade it to the full Mjolnir, I feel like the Maelstrom has a lot of value and a lot of merit.
Yeah, I mean, the DK right now has like 140 attack speed above the Sniper, and that means the headshots procs aren't coming quickly enough, and he's not going to be able to make the full impact that he could with a different build. But either way, here's the initiation, perhaps the last of the game.
Yep, tower falls, F4L, forced to use a black hole only on 2 to get it started. Not a bad way to get this fight going, but now Narok uses the first Ravage. 2 BKBs were on, so won't do a hell of a lot, but Enigma gets off a second black hole. It's not bad, but it's just not enough damage. The all-heal from Chen comes out, Enigma falls, buys back. Sniper, same story, different chapter. They'll finish off the Skywrath Mage. He won't have the buyback. Radiant have a glyph standing, as the Dire will stand their ground and continue to fight. Ewo procs the Aegis and will continue to press forward. Sniper forced to TP back to the well. They've lost the Centaur, but Smash is still alive. Now he'll turn, gets sent back to the well. A rampage for the Viper with all the buybacks. Ewo is just going to town. The Aegis of the Immortal as well. The Chicken comes in and will grab the gem. Ewo, he wants to finish off the Sniper. Will he have enough to bring him down? No, the poison won't take it. Now he'll continue forward. Chen gets the kill on the Brewmaster, and it looks like that will be the end of it, Blaze. Glyph is still available, but the top lane of Rax fall. Buybacks come out, but what's this Tidehunter going to do? No Ravage, and there you have it. GG, well played. Ewo with the Rampage.
Yeah, absolutely insane there at the tail end of it. And they had the full HP Dragon to come back in with the Test of Faith BOTs. So they were winning that fight one way or another. The double black hole, it was actually really good from the Enigma. FRL was able to get what he needed to in the end, but by then they were too far gone. The net worth on the Sniper wasn't high enough, and he didn't go for that really risky build. In this case here, he actually ended the game with 2,600 gold in the bank, and if that was a mom, no, they wouldn't have won the fight, but he might have felt a little bit better about it.
Yeah. Wow. What a fun game to wrap up the day, and unfortunately for Shadows of the Past, not what they were looking for in their dreams of the top 4 won't happen, but not today, still alive. And Smash Dota, ladies and gentlemen, after 41 minutes of gameplay, he ends that 10-0-9. Perfect execution on the Dragon Knight.
Yeah, level 24 amongst those that range from level 11 to level 18. Like, just 2 heads above the rest. Like, not even just, like, towering over them, but he is the Jolly Giant. This guy is absolutely insane, farming up a storm and just controlling the game perfect. So he does play defensively. He makes sure that he secures the win, but in the end, they make a really good show of it. NoT are essentially guaranteed their slot here now in the top 4.
Yep. Well, Blaze, that brings our coverage for today to an end. 6 great games. The first 5 VODs are already up on YouTube. Game 1 was a hell of a game to check out, or a hell of a game to watch, and had a pretty cataclysmic ending that certainly recommend you guys catch. It was the EG versus SNA game, and there were some other good matches in the mix. We're done for today. I'm off tomorrow, and then I move on to the China schedule. So we'll have, I think there's Starladder America tomorrow as well. I'm not sure. Maybe Mott's covering it. But yeah, that's another day in the books here, Blaze. It's always a pleasure, buddy. You have any closing words for us?
I mean, shout out to all the viewers that tuned in to the games today. Shout out to the North American Dota scene in general, whether from the NA Dota representatives or those that just play it for the love of the game. No matter the case, anybody that is helping to grow the scene here, it's been a really slow climb, but now we are at a point where not only are we bringing major competitors to international events, but we really can take pride in our country and what we represent. So on behalf of a individual representative of North American Dota, thanks, guys, and I hope we have many more years to come.
All righty. So we'll see y'all later. Make sure you follow us on Twitter @ZayoriTV, @BlazeDota, and @BeyondTheSummit. We're done. We'll see you tomorrow.